Have you ever sensed that someone in your life is draining your energy like an emotional vampire? Today, we're going to uncover the 10 signs that can help you recognize those toxic individuals who, often without realizing it, may be undermining your happiness. The final sign is particularly surprising, so stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share several practical tools to help you manage these people and restore your emotional well-being. If you're finding value in what you're hearing and seeing, why not subscribe? If you liked this content, please hit that subscribe button and join us. Your click can help make a difference in someone else's life too. Let's grow together. Signal 1, the master manipulator. First up is the master manipulator. Have you ever felt as though someone is pulling your strings, treating you like a puppet in their own play? This individual acts like an emotional puppeteer, skillfully tugging at your feelings with a finesse that could leave even the most talented magician envious. But don't worry today. We're going to learn how to sever those invisible strings and reclaim control over our own narratives. Manipulators are deceptive artists, skilled in employing subtle tactics that often fly under the radar. One of their favorite tools is emotional blackmail, making you feel guilty for not complying with their desires, as if your happiness hinges on theirs. If you truly cared about me, you'd do this. Sound familiar? Another classic technique they use is guilt, turning any situation into your responsibility. If something goes awry, somehow it always ends up being your fault. It's as if they hold a PhD in making others feel bad about themselves. But that's not all. Manipulators are experts in the art of reality distortion, denying events that clearly occurred or exaggerating circumstances to fit their narrative. It's akin to living in a film where the script is perpetually changing, and you're the only one left out of the loop. A recent study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships revealed a startling truth. Those who have been involved with emotional manipulators often experience a decline in self-esteem and confidence that can linger for years after the relationship ends. It's as if the manipulator has left a toxic imprint on our psyche. However, all hope is not lost. The Stoics, those wise thinkers of antiquity, had some insightful strategies for dealing with manipulators. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, famously said that the best way to get back at an enemy is not to become like them. In other words, the most effective defense against a manipulator is to uphold your integrity and resist their games. So, how can we incorporate this Stoic wisdom into our daily lives? First, practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your emotions and the tactics others use to sway you. When you sense someone trying to manipulate you, take a moment to reflect: is this feeling genuinely mine, or am I being influenced? Second, establish clear boundaries. Don't hesitate to say no when something doesn't align with your values. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's happiness at the cost of your own. Third, work on building your self-esteem. The more confident you become, the less susceptible you'll be to manipulation. As Epictetus, another great Stoic, put it, no man is free unless he is master of himself. Fourth, practice empathy, but set limits. Understand that manipulators often act from their insecurities and fears. However, empathy doesn't mean you have to accept or tolerate harmful behaviors. Now, let's move on to the second signal. Have you ever? Signal 2, the relentless critic. Do you often feel that nothing you do meets the mark? Welcome to the realm of the relentless critic, this inner judge who seems to have a PhD in finding faults. But fear not. Today, we're going to learn how to silence that voice and restore our confidence. Picture this: your life is a reality show, and the relentless critic is the harshest judge on the panel. No matter how well you perform, he always has a negative remark to make. Well, it wasn't bad, but is his favorite phrase. It's as if he possesses a radar for detecting imperfections, no matter how minor they may be. This inner critic doesn't just scrutinize your actions, it also targets your thoughts, appearance, and even your aspirations. Do you really think you can achieve that? Is his go-to question. Over time, the worst part is that you may begin to internalize his doubts. However, here's the truth: this relentless critic is merely a construct in your mind, fueled by past experiences and future anxieties. It holds no genuine power over you unless you allow it to. The issue is that, much like a virus, this critical mindset can spread easily. I've noticed that when I spend time with people who constantly criticize everything, I start to adopt that same outlook. It's akin to traveling to a new country and inadvertently picking up the local accent. Imagine an Andalusian spending time with a Basque. He would likely start saying Otto with a northern accent. Marcus Aurelius, that wise Roman emperor, had a profound insight: do not be disturbed, all things follow the nature of the universe. In a short time, you will be nobody and you will be nowhere, like Hadrian and Augustus. In other words, don't allow the opinions of others to weigh you down. Ultimately, we are all made of stardust. So how can we implement this Stoic wisdom in our daily lives? First, recognize that you are more than just your accomplishments or failures. Your worth as a person isn't contingent upon what you do or don't do. Second, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a good friend. Would you tell your best friend that they are a failure for making a mistake? Probably not. So why would you say that to yourself? Third, surround yourself with uplifting and inspiring individuals. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with relentless critics, you will likely become one. Conversely, when you are with people who recognize your strengths, you will start to see the best in yourself. Fourth, practice gratitude. Instead of fixating on what's lacking or what's wrong, take time each day to acknowledge what you have and what you've achieved. Fifth, sometimes walking away is the best option. If someone in your life consistently criticizes you and makes you feel inadequate, it's perfectly valid to create some distance. Your mental well-being is far more important than pleasing others. Now, let's move on to the third sign, the narcissist. When the world. Signal 3, the narcissist. Does everything seem to revolve around them? Or at least, that's what they believe. Do you know how to spot a narcissist? Don't worry, they'll gladly inform you themselves. In fact, they're likely already broadcasting it from the rooftops, social media, and any reflective surface available. Narcissists are like human suns, bright, warm, and charming until you get too close and end up burned. They excel at drawing attention, always eager to share their legendary accomplishments or lament how the world fails to recognize their brilliance. But what lies behind that facade of unshakable confidence? Psychology reveals that narcissism often masks profound insecurity. It's as if they don shiny armor to conceal their vulnerabilities. The traits of narcissism resemble a tasting menu of toxic behaviors. First, there's the lack of empathy to them. Your problems are trivial compared to their ongoing dramas. Next, the incessant need for admiration surfaces. If you're not praising them, are you truly paying attention? Then we have the grandiosity. Their achievements are always monumental, their talents unparalleled. Let's not overlook manipulation. They can twist any situation to portray themselves as either heroes or victims, depending on what serves them best. In relationships, narcissists act like emotional vacuum cleaners, sucking up all the attention and support while leaving others feeling drained. It's akin to trying to fill a bottomless pit with your energy and affection. But there's more to consider. In the age of social media, narcissism is experiencing a golden age. A recent University of Michigan study revealed a 30% rise in narcissistic traits among young people over the past decade. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok have become perfect playgrounds for digital narcissists. Imagine a world where every selfie, post, and story is an opportunity to satiate that insatiable ego. Social media has crafted an ecosystem where constant validation is merely a like away, creating a factory of narcissists without us even realizing it. However, all hope is not lost. The Stoics, those wise thinkers of antiquity, offered brilliant insights on how to handle difficult individuals without compromising our integrity. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, famously noted that the best revenge is not to become like your enemy. So how can we apply this Stoic wisdom when confronted with a narcissist? First, practice emotional detachment. Observe their behavior as though you were a scientist studying a fascinating species. Approach with curiosity rather than judgment. Second, recognize that narcissists are like children trapped in adult bodies. They require firm yet compassionate boundaries. Don't hesitate to say no when they overstep. Third, cultivate your self-esteem. The more confident you become in yourself, the less impact their manipulative tactics will have on you. It's akin to constructing an emotional shield against their drama. Finally, practice compassion from a distance. Keep in mind that behind their facade of greatness lies a deeply insecure individual. While this doesn't excuse their behavior, it can help you maintain perspective. Now, let's move on to the fourth sign, the Signal 4. The silent saboteur. The silent saboteur, a figure who turns your success into their own failure. Picture your life as a thrilling spy movie, where you're the hero chasing your dreams and aspirations, but lurking in the shadows is a secret agent of failure, placing unexpected obstacles in your way. This is the silent saboteur, a master of subtle sabotage. These saboteurs move like emotional ninjas, stealthily leaving behind a trail of doubts, insecurities, and hurdles. They might be the friend who always finds a reason why your business idea is doomed, or the family member who brings up your past failures just before a crucial interview. Their tactics are as varied as they are insidious. They may whisper rumors that damage your reputation, conveniently forget to share essential project information, or even undermine your work when no one is watching. It's as if they have a secret playbook titled How to Undermine Others' Success Without Them Noticing. But what drives them to behave this way? Psychology offers some insights. At the core of this behavior often lies deep insecurity. The successes of others reflect their own perceived fears and failures, leading them to think, if I can't succeed, no one else should. Envy also plays a significant role. A recent study from Harvard University found that individuals prone to social sabotage frequently exhibit higher levels of envy and low self-esteem. They view success as a limited resource. If you take a slice, it means there's less for them. Additionally, sabotage can serve as a manipulative way to maintain control, keeping others in their perceived place, allowing the saboteur to feel superior in a world they see as threatening. Faced with these agents of failure, Stoic wisdom provides a powerful shield. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, imparted a valuable lesson. It is not the things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we have of them. In the context of silent sabotage, this means the true power lies not in the saboteur's actions, but in how we choose to interpret and react to them. It's like having a secret superpower, the ability to determine our response. So how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? First, cultivate self-awareness. Learn to recognize the subtle signs of sabotage. Does someone always have a discouraging remark when you share your plans? Do you notice that a certain person is always around when things go awry? Second, concentrate on your own goals. As Epictetus advised, keep your focus on what is within your control. While you can't dictate the actions of others, you can control your responses and determination. Before we move on to the fifth sign of toxic people, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Interestingly, statistics show that only 5% of those who watch my videos are subscribed. If you value the work I do and wish to support me, subscribe now and join that wise minority. If you appreciate this type of content as much as I do, leave a comment saying, "I love wisdom." Let's keep learning together and enhancing our lives. Signal 5. The obsessive controller. Have you ever felt as though someone is attempting to orchestrate every detail of your life, treating you like a pawn in their own chess game? Welcome to the realm of the obsessive controller, where your freedom is constantly jeopardized. Picture your life as a dance. You long to express yourself and move freely to the rhythm. Yet there's someone who insists on dictating the tempo, critiquing every step, and telling you how, when, and where to dance. This is the obsessive controller in action. These individuals resemble conductors who have lost their sheet music, attempting to micromanage every facet of those around them, from significant life choices to trivial details. You should dress this way. You shouldn't associate with those friends. You have to do things my way. Does this sound familiar? But what drives this behavior? Psychology offers some insights. Often the need for control arises from profound insecurity and a fear of chaos. For them, the world is a frightening and unpredictable place, and the only way to feel secure is by exerting control over everything and everyone nearby. The consequences of this behavior on relationships can be profoundly damaging. A recent study from the University of Michigan revealed that individuals involved with obsessive controllers experience stress levels 50% higher than average. It's like being trapped in an invisible cage where your autonomy and self-esteem gradually diminish. Obsessive controllers wield an array of tactics. They may use guilt to manipulate you, making you feel bad for exercising your own judgment. Alternatively, they might engage in subtle manipulation, framing their desires as being in your best interest. "I only want what's best for you," they claim, while steering you down the path they've selected. Yet, all is not lost. The Stoics, those wise philosophers of antiquity, provided invaluable insights on how to maintain our inner freedom, even amidst the toughest circumstances. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave, once stated, "No man is free unless he is master of himself." This teaching serves as a key to unlocking the cage of obsessive control, reminding us that while we cannot dictate the actions of others, we always possess the power to choose our responses and thoughts. So how can we apply this Stoic wisdom when confronted with an obsessive controller? Here are some practical strategies. Practice assertiveness. Communicate your thoughts and desires clearly and respectfully. Remember, your voice and opinions hold value. Cultivate your self-esteem. The more confident you become, the less influence controllers will have over you. Seek support. Surround yourself with individuals who respect your autonomy and encourage you to be your authentic self. Practice emotional detachment. When someone tries to control you, take a mental step back and assess the situation objectively. Keep in mind that you are not obligated to fulfill another person's need for control. Your freedom and autonomy are fundamental rights that deserve protection. Now, let's move on to the sixth signal. Have you ever felt that someone? Signal 6, the compulsive liar. Welcome to the intriguing realm of compulsive liars, those masters of deception who transform reality into their personal playground. Imagine yourself in an extraordinary story that makes even the most fantastical science fiction films seem like mundane documentaries. That's the hallmark of a compulsive liar. They can weave tales so elaborate that they would leave even seasoned Hollywood screenwriters feeling envious. But what drives this behavior? Psychology offers some fascinating insights. According to a study published in the Journal of Missing Reference, the reasons behind their lies are multifaceted: to avoid conflict, to impress others, or to maintain a distorted self-image. It's as though they inhabit a parallel universe where they are the stars of a movie that only they can perceive. Unfortunately, they often pull us into their fabricated film sets. Identifying a liar is not as straightforward as TV shows would have you believe. Contrary to popular belief, not all liars evade eye contact or touch their noses when they're being deceitful. In fact, research from the University of Michigan found that expert liars often maintain more eye contact than honest individuals. Surprising, isn't it? So how can we pinpoint these deception artists? Start by paying attention to inconsistencies in their narratives. Compulsive liars struggle to keep their fabrications aligned over time, as if they're weaving a web of falsehoods from which they eventually become ensnared. Another clue lies in their storytelling: a lack of specific details, or, conversely, an overload of irrelevant information. When someone is telling the truth, they can typically offer concrete details about their experiences. Liars, however, tend to be vague or inundate you with unnecessary specifics to divert your attention from inconsistencies in their tales. But it's not all gloom and doom. The Stoics, those wise sages of antiquity, provided valuable insights on handling liars. As the philosopher Seneca said, "The truth is braver than a lie, for the lie is always fearful of being discovered." In essence, the most effective approach to dealing with a liar is to remain steadfast in your commitment to the truth and your values. So how can we apply this Stoic wisdom in our daily lives? Here are a few strategies. Cultivate honesty in your own interactions. The more you prioritize truth in your life, the easier it becomes to recognize falsehoods in others. Practice compassion. Many compulsive liars lie out of insecurity or fear. Understanding this doesn't mean you should condone their behavior, but it can help you respond with empathy rather than anger. Set clear boundaries. If you identify someone who lies consistently, communicate your value for honesty and explain that repeated deceit can harm your relationship. Remember that you cannot control others' actions, you can only control your response to them. As Epictetus, another great Stoic, wisely noted, it is not the things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Now, let's move on to signal number 7. Signal 7, the emotional chameleon. Do you ever get the sense that your life has turned into an emotional roller coaster? Welcome to the bewildering realm of the emotional chameleon, where each day presents a new adventure, though not always a pleasurable one. Picture your friend Carlos as an emotional box of chocolates. One day he's delightful and charming, the next he's bitter and withdrawn, and then suddenly he's a volatile blend of emotions that leave you bewildered. Navigating life or work alongside an emotional chameleon feels like steering a ship through a stormy sea with a map that keeps changing. These emotional chameleons excel at keeping everyone around them in a perpetual state of uncertainty. One moment they're on cloud nine, celebrating life as if they've just hit the jackpot, and the next they spiral into a profound depression that feels apocalyptic. The most frustrating part? These drastic shifts can occur without any warning and often in the blink of an eye. So, what causes this behavior? Psychology provides some insights. Often, beneath this emotional instability lurk untreated personality disorders, unresolved traumas, or simply an inability to manage their emotions. It's as if their emotional thermostat is perpetually malfunctioning, unable to regulate a steady temperature. This unpredictability creates an atmosphere of constant stress and uncertainty for those in their vicinity. It's akin to living in a house where the furniture rearranges itself every time you look away. You never know whether you'll sit comfortably or end up falling. A recent study from the University of California found that individuals living or working with emotionally unstable people experience 40% more daily stress and are 30% more likely to develop anxiety. The chaos seems to be contagious, spreading to everyone nearby. In interpersonal relationships, the effects can be particularly damaging. Imagine trying to establish a connection on emotional quicksand. One day you're their soulmate, and the next, you're the root of all their problems. This emotional tumult can leave those around them feeling confused, drained, and questioning their own sanity. Therefore, it's essential to cultivate your emotional stability. The more grounded you are, the less impact the fluctuations of others will have on you. It's like being a rock in the midst of a turbulent river. Now, let's move on to signal number 8. Signal 8, the professional victimizer. 8, the individual who appears to have a PhD in blaming everyone but themselves. Welcome to the draining realm of the professional victimizer, where the universe is perpetually at fault for their misfortunes. Picture life as an expansive board game. We all roll the dice, moving forward, backward, winning and losing. However, the professional victimizer plays by a completely different set of rules. For them, every unfortunate roll is part of a cosmic conspiracy specifically aimed at them. These lamentation experts possess a unique knack for transforming any situation into a personal tragedy. Is it raining on their day off? Clearly the weather has it in for them. Didn't get the promotion? It must be because the boss harbors a deep-seated hatred for them. Is your coffee cold? Obviously the barista has a personal vendetta against them. It's as if they reside in a film where they are the misunderstood hero and the entire world plays the role of the villain. The downside is that, in their relentless pursuit of being the eternal victim, they become the antagonists in their own narrative. But what fuels this incessant need to blame others? Often, this behavior is grounded in low self-esteem and a profound fear of failure. It's much easier to point fingers at the world than to confront one's own limitations and mistakes. It's as if they wield an invisible shield that deflects all responsibility. It's not my fault the world is against me. This mantra serves as both their shield and their sword. The repercussions of this mindset on relationships can be severe. Being around someone who perpetually plays the victim is exhausting. It's like attempting to fill a bottomless pit with empathy and support. A recent study from Stanford University indicated that individuals who frequently blame others for their problems are 30% less likely to achieve their personal and professional aspirations. It's hardly surprising growth and improvement are challenging when it's always others who need to change. Remember, it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our perceptions of them. This perspective acts as an antidote to the poison of victimhood, reminding us that we possess the power to choose how we interpret and respond to life's events. So how can we incorporate this Stoic wisdom when dealing with a professional victimizer, or even when we find ourselves slipping into this mindset? Here are some practical strategies. Practice personal responsibility. When confronted with a situation, ask yourself, what can I do to improve this? This shift in focus is far more empowering than searching for someone to blame. Reframe your thinking. Shift from why me to what can I learn from this. This simple change can transform obstacles into opportunities for growth. Cultivate gratitude. It's tough to feel like a victim when you concentrate on what you have rather than what you lack. Practice empathy with boundaries. Recognize that behind the facade of victimhood lies pain, but don't feed into the cycle of complaining. Use humor as a tool sometimes. A well-placed joke can help put things into perspective. For example, I think the universe has better things to do than conspire against us. Now, let's explore signal number 9, where we encounter individuals who seem to exist in their own movie. Signal 9, the reality denier. Imagine for a moment that life is one grand movie set. Most of us are merely actors following the script of reality, occasionally improvising along the way. In contrast, the reality denier plays the role of a director in their own surreal film. These individuals are like perception wizards, possessing an uncanny ability to twist reality until it aligns perfectly with their own narratives. If the facts don't support their worldview, they simply rewrite them. It's as if they wield a magic pencil that can erase and reshape reality at will. But what drives this relentless denial of reality? Psychology offers some insights. Often this behavior serves as a defense mechanism against uncomfortable or painful truths. It's as though these individuals have constructed an elaborate emotional house of cards, terrified that the slightest gust of reality will bring it all crashing down. A recent study from Stanford University revealed an unexpected finding: those who tend to deny reality experience higher levels of anxiety and depression in the long run. By constantly trying to escape the truth, they essentially trap themselves in a prison of their own design. The consequences of this behavior on relationships and social interactions can be catastrophic. It's akin to playing a game where the rules are perpetually shifting at someone's whim. Friends, family members, and co-workers can find themselves confused, frustrated, and even deceived as they attempt to navigate this ever-changing landscape of reality. The real danger lies in allowing someone to continually distort our perception of the truth. It's like letting someone slip virtual reality goggles on us, presenting a world that is entirely fabricated. Over time, we risk losing our moral compass and our sense of what is true. So, how can we tackle this issue? This is where the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, comes to our aid. He famously stated, "If it is not true, don't say it. If it is not right, don't do it." This teaching serves as a guiding light in the fog of denial, emphasizing the importance of seeking and accepting the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that truth, while sometimes painful, is the key to freedom and inner peace. It's like taking bitter medicine that ultimately heals us. He would argue that it is far better to confront reality, however challenging it may be, than to dwell in a comfortable yet false illusion. How can we apply this wisdom when dealing with a reality denier, or when we recognize denial tendencies within ourselves? Here are some practical strategies. Cultivate a love for truth. Make the pursuit of truth a fundamental value in your life. Practice self-awareness. Be mindful of your own tendencies to deny or distort reality. Seek multiple perspectives. Avoid sticking solely to your side of the story. Accept uncertainty. Understand that reality is often complex and ambiguous. It's perfectly acceptable not to have all the answers. Be compassionate but firm when interacting with a reality denier. Offer support while remaining grounded in the truth. Now, let's move on to signal number 10, where we delve into the topic of envy. If you're finding value in what you're hearing and seeing, why not subscribe? If you liked this content, please hit that subscribe button and join us. Your click can help make a difference in someone else's life too. Let's grow together.